This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazelton Standard Speaker.
As the celebration of Passover continues, we talk with the executive director of a Jewish community center here in northeastern Pennsylvania about the importance of this time of year for those in the Jewish faith. Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. I'm Ken Kara, and here's today's local information. A local hero was honored on Wednesday night. Fire departments from around the area paraded to the home of 8-year-old Jackson Dempsey of Hazelton. Dempsey's little sister was choking recently, and he saved her life by using the Heimlich maneuver. Hazelton Mayor Jeff Cassat and State Representative Tara Toohill were also there to congratulate Dempsey. Our Samuel Sant Jr. was there as well, and we'll have a full feature story on Jackson Dempsey next week on SSPTV News. Well, happy Passover to all of our Jewish viewers. Lisa Sugar joins us, and her news feature is all about the celebration.
The celebration of Passover is being celebrated by members of the Jewish community. It began on March 27th and will culminate this Sunday, April 4th. I'm pleased to be joined now by Dan Kardonic, who is the executive director of the Scranton Jewish Community Center. Dan, thanks for joining us. Can you please explain to our viewers who may not be familiar with Passover what it does signify?
Passover is one of the bigger holidays on the Jewish calendar. It's an 8-day holiday that marks the Jewish journey from enslavement to freedom as the Israelites departed ancient Egypt. It comes straight from Jewish law, from the Torah, where we're commanded to retell the story of this exodus from Egypt after God unleashed a series of plagues on the Egyptians. Jews observe Passover with many rituals. Family will come together and have a Seder, which is the Hebrew word for order. And we'll retell the story with symbols that we put on a Seder plate. And there's about 6 items total. A couple examples include bitter herbs, which represents the bitterness of slavery. And usually we use horseradish as that symbol. And there's also parsley that we dip in salt water that represents the tears of slaves. So those are just a couple examples of some of the symbols that we use on a Seder plate to help tell the story. We also retell the story using a text called a Haggadah. And that's a book that everyone receives at the Seder table, and we refer to various texts as we tell the story of Passover. Another important tradition that we have is that we remove sort of all leavened foods from the house. Usually these are grains, primarily grains, and we abstain from them during the 8-day holiday. And in substitution, we'll eat a flattened, unrisen bread called matzah. It's like a really thin cracker, that tastes pretty good. And the symbolism is that the Jews were in such a rush to leave Egypt that they didn't have time for their bread to rise, so they ate unleavened bread. So while we remember sort of the bitterness of slavery and some of the sad events that happened in ancient Egypt during Passover, it also is a time for Jews to celebrate and to be joyous as we're celebrating freedom. So one of the ways that as part of the Seder is that we consider ourselves reclining by having cups of wine. So there's usually 4 cups of wine that are part of the telling of the story of the Seder, and we will recline during the Seder, and we will drink wine. So, and this year, obviously because of the pandemic and even last year, many families weren't able to get together. They weren't able to get together with their extended family. So alternative ideas had to be brought to the table. And what became very popular over the course of the last year is a virtual Zoom Seder, in which families will connect with other families from across the country or from other households, and they would do a Seder together via Zoom. And everybody would show their different symbols on the Seder plate and their cups of wine and their and the Haggadah, and they would actually tell the story together virtually while sitting at their Seder tables. So that's become a very popular option given the pandemic, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of that happen this year in our Jewish community.
That's great that families can still be together and still celebrate together like that, thanks to good old Zoom here. Now, I know that it will be culminating on Sunday. Are the last few days any more significant than the earlier days of Passover?
On the first 2 days and last 2 days of Passover, those are the traditional days during the 8-day holiday that families will hold seders. More will hold them on the first 2 days than they will on the last 2 days, but last 2 days also is a popular a time to also hold a seder. And those are the days that we're commanded not to work. And so you will find that many Jewish agencies will be closed on those days, including ours, the JCC. And you'll also find that some of the Jewish people won't work on those days. They will take those days as a holiday in respect of the holiday. And let me wish everybody a Chag Pesach Sameach, which is Hebrew for Happy Passover. We're celebrating the Jewish journey from enslavement to freedom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Frankie's Pizzeria and Restaurant on Wyoming Street in Hazelton. Stop by Friday and Saturday nights for all-you-can-eat crab legs starting at 5 p.m. Also, check out Frankie's new hours and their specials on their Facebook page.
Time now for weather on SSPTV News.
Here's our forecast for the National Weather Service. On Friday, it's partly sunny with a high in the 30s. It will be windy. Friday night, mostly cloudy with the low around 20 degrees. Saturday is sunny with a high in the 40s. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with the low in the 30s. Sunday is mostly sunny with a high in the 50s. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low in the 30s. Monday is sunny with a high in the 50s. And Monday night, mostly clear with a low in the 30s. Back-to-back home runs from Jake Hall and Jackson Chowanski helped North Schuylkill beat Tri-Valley in baseball. This is the SSPTV Standard Speaker scoreboard. Marion's Luke Walzer was a perfect 4-for-4 in the Colts win over Executive Education Charter. Panther Valley beat Tamaqua in baseball. Tamaqua also took a non-league loss in softball. Penn State Hazelton swept Penn State Schuylkill in 2 close games. Sky Esterly drove in the winning run in game number 2 for Hazelton. Tamaqua and North Schuylkill got sweeps in track and field. Keziah Streisel, Grace Stager-Martin, and Caitlin Smith all won 2 events for the Lady Raiders. Corey McCormick and Sarah Wagner won 3 events for the Lady Spartans. For the Tamaqua boys, Cameron Lewis won the 200 and 400 dashes, and Jack Flynn and Mike Riley won 2 events for North Schuylkill. Finally, Dallas swept Hazelton area in boys tennis. Stay tuned for an in-depth sports feature with the MMI Prep baseball team. Plus, we have a clip from the Dr. Mead Show in the SSPTV Spotlight and a segment on how to handle bugs this spring and summer.
The 17th annual Icebreaker Golf Outing will be held on Friday, April 30th, with registration starting at 11 a.m. and a shotgun start at 12 noon. The event will be at Eagle Rock Resort and will be $75 per player. Please note that applications for the Hazelton Rotary Memorial Scholarship are currently available. There will be 3 scholarships given out this year. Deadlines for the applications to be in are April 28th. SSPTV News would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of Bernard P. Barney Bonner, Sr., age 59 of Beaverbrook. A memorial service will be held on April 10th at 1 p.m. at the Joseph B. Conahan Funeral Home. Friends may call on April 10th from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the funeral home. Today's social and obituary report is brought to you by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory. Call 570-788-0977 or go to harmonfuneral.com.